So, I want to talk for just a minute about some common missteps that I see that I believe investors in general may be making. Same mistakes that in my 23-year career I've seen over and over. It's usually a different set of circumstances, but it all rhymes. History may not exactly repeat itself, but it rhymes. One of those errors that I see quite often is making investment decisions based on politics. I know it's so easy to do. We all have our beliefs, our values, but I think from my experience, it's very important to separate those two, separate your money, your investments from your politics. And it's important to remember, in my opinion, that the market and companies that we're investing in are apolitical. Yes, in the short term, different swings in elections, different swings in power may have some temporary effects on the market. But I think it's important to remember as an investor that companies are tasked with the responsibility of making money for their enterprise, also making money for shareholders. They are going to find a way to be profitable if they are a viable company. If they are profitable and they are a viable company, we as shareholders will benefit in that growth and make money over the long haul. Second, I would say, is getting out of good companies, good investments, when we're already well into whatever this is. This downturn in the economies, the market, the investments. We're months and months and months and even over a year into a downturn. Unless there's some really good legitimate reason for getting rid of an investment or a company, it just does not make sense to be getting out of well-run companies this far into a downturn. The other thing that I would say that I'm seeing is when they're getting out of those investments, maybe they're going into short-term CDs, short-term bonds, things of that nature. That could also end up being an error. If we do go through a recession that everybody is banking on and just thinks is inevitable, and there's no guarantee that it is, but if that does happen, the first thing that the Federal Reserve is going to do is they're going to cut interest rates. So for the portfolio that is in bonds or is in CDs, if that's appropriate, maybe it's not the thing to do to just put it all in 6 months or 1 year. Because interest rates, just like the market in the investments and stock market, will fluctuate and change over time as well. So again, bailing on the market and then just putting it all in short-term investments may not be the best strategy. Lastly, placing credibility with influencers, whether they're on social media, blogging. Not to say that they cannot be credible, but there is a whole lot of harmful information out there that people are taking as advice that may not even have their place. For instance, and I won't dive into too deep, common example of what I'm seeing right now is people coming to me and saying the dollar is going to be void. The US dollar is going to be void in the next 3 weeks, or by the end of the year, the US dollar is going to be wiped out. Long term, who knows? We may have a world currency. The US dollar might not be the primary thing, but it's not going to be weeks or months, because the majority of all of the currency reserves in the world globally are the US dollar. We won't just go overnight and the dollar just vanish when the majority of all the liquidity out there is in US dollars. So there's just a lot of information out there that scares people, makes them jump, makes them want to make irrational decisions, and I get it, but we need to be really careful about the experts that we're following on social media and the impact that that could have. Also, all of the 24/7 news media. We need to be very mindful of that. We need to remember that in most cases, they're selling something. They're getting advertisers. They're getting revenue. And the more scary the story, the more ads and the more revenue that it's going to bring in for that company. And they don't know our situation. They don't know our investment portfolio. They don't know our goals. And in most cases, they probably could care less. So it's just very important to put all of that into perspective. And if you have questions on it, I appreciate each one of our clients that come to us with these type of questions, because it's important that people stay invested.